Welcome to Credit Chats, where we deep dive into the financial maze and uncover how everything from your daily coffee to your dream home impacts your credit score. I'm LeBaron, and thank you for joining us. Each episode will explore the ins and outs of personal finance, hear from experts, and answer your questions. So tune in, take notes, and transform your financial journey with us. Let's get started.
Everybody, welcome to another episode of Credit Chats. We're going to be starting a new segment called Just the Tip, where I give you a credit repair tip. So the one we have for you today is, did you know that outdated personal info on your credit report could be holding you back? Old addresses, misspelled names, outdated phone numbers can cause errors that can hurt your score. Take a moment to update it and see if it helps clear that up, some of that lingering credit issues. I have a template that I put in the show notes for you, and you can start that process. So today we have John Mousa on Credit Chats. Born and raised in South Carolina, he pursued higher education in business, human resources, and management before joining the U.S. Army in 1999 to fund his education. After nearly 10 years of service and 2 deployments, he medically retired due to a back injury and transitioned into a career with the FDA, where he currently serves as a consumer complaint coordinator. Along the way, he became debt-free, purchased his first home, and launched 2 businesses: an entertainment media company that produced a podcast and a home inspection business. Now he focuses on fatherhood, financial wealth, investing, and building a legacy for his children. He's passionate about supporting others in their entrepreneurial pursuit while continuing to explore new financial opportunities. Welcome, John.
Thanks for having me, man. What's up, bro?
In reading your bio, you had 2 businesses. What's the name of those businesses?
Well, I started a company in 2018. The first company we started was 3 in the Paint Radio. Well, 3 in the Paint LLC.
Right.
A friend I met in broadcasting school. I did a broadcasting school thing. I already had ideas of wanting to start a podcast, radio show,
Right.
and wanted to go to broadcasting school so we wouldn't sound too janky on knew a little something about what I was doing.
Within
So I met
due
my
diligence.
yeah, absolutely. So I met my what would become my future business partner, Zach Griffin, in that class, a fellow veteran, and we hit it off, man. And we both had this idea of doing this show, and we worked it and manifested it into a plan to how we were going to do it, and it manifested into a 3 in the Paint radio show that was geared around sports, entertainment, and just current event type topics. Basically, what you see now with uh, nightcap and those type of things. Shout
Okay.
out to Shannon Sharp and all those and Ocho Cinco. But we had that out. That was basically what we were doing, but at a smaller level, and local level here in Atlanta. And
Yeah.
that was 2018. We had some success with that. Had about 3 or 4 sponsors locally from the Georgia area. Um, Boxing ring, a small beverage company,
Okay.
beer, and we were able to kind of parlay that by networking and meeting people through interviewing and those who were listening, because the show was being broadcast through terrestrial radio AM at the Real 1100 AM here in Atlanta, Georgia, and also uh, worldwide through iHeartRadio.
Gotcha.
So it
So
was
y'all
it
was on
was
iHeart early.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think before they are like the conglomerate and
Yeah.
everything they are now. Yeah, but we enjoyed that, and again we parlayed that into my business partner Zach, uh, turning that into somebody. We met a home inspector, a guy who was doing home inspections.
Gotcha.
Never had any uh, dreams or aspirations about doing home inspections. Didn't really even know what it was about.
Yeah.
But he was definitely someone who helped us get our bearings in the home inspection business and broke it down for us. He was a former vet too. So your network is your net worth, is what I've
Yeah.
come to understand.
Yeah.
And we started a home inspection business. Zach started
Nice.
it. He kicked it off, and yeah, we parlayed that into a home inspection business that also started early 2019.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
yeah, so I became a certified home inspector through Internachi, and did all we need to do, and we were off and running, man.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, my first question was around, like the journey from becoming mobile notary, home inspector, and kind of what inspired you to pursue this. But it
Mhm.
sounds like Zach really started it off, and it was just kind of a fell into something that was able to sustain you at the time. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, if you want to expound on that, then that's cool. But if that was the story, then that
Yeah,
will.
well, I mean, we both had aspirations, man, and we both were wanting to create a legacy. And we were
Right.
both in that. He's got three beautiful boys, and
Uh-huh.
I have two daughters. I was married at the time, and
Okay.
we were just trying to, we had this understanding of what are we going to creating something that's going to,
Yeah.
business wise, that'll leave something here
Yeah.
as a legacy.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was the radio show was both of ours,
Mm-hmm.
but he had that spurred off into the home inspection thing, and of course
Gotcha.
we got into that, man. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
And talk a little bit about the mobile notary. How did you get into that?
Mobile notary was actually something that just dropped in my my psyche one day
Mm-hmm.
about I saw something when I was doing home inspections. My mom's was a realtor for over 30 years,
Gotcha.
and as I started getting into home inspections and we started working with realtors and forming relationships with realtors, uh, I would hear the stories about, the financing or the closings or
Mm-hmm.
these type of, going to a client's house late at night and having to, sign off on something, some paperwork for
Yeah.
that. And they always mention that, oh, we had to get a notary, or this is notary. And I was like, sitting one day, I was like, that notary person, that
Yeah.
person is kind of
They,
essential to
they
these.
got some sauce.
Yeah, to these transactions,
Yeah.
these closings and things. So that's really what sparked it. I don't know why I thought that it was a very, red tape-ish type
Mm-hmm.
uh process.
Gatekept.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, process, but it wasn't. I mean, you just, they checked my record and all of that, and it was simple as going to the courthouse and
Okay.
and doing the paperwork. Yeah,
Gotcha. Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay. Well, what's the name of both of those? I mean, the mobile notary and home inspection business.
Now that's the funny thing. I'm still have a working name. Right now, it's still everything is pretty much under Three in the Paint
Okay.
LLC. I am working on a legacy name with my brother, in my younger brother, who's in Spartanburg, South Carolina, who has him he's doing pretty well with the handyman business there,
Okay.
um, and he works in home management business as
Gotcha.
far as career wise. So
Gotcha.
we're working on something with that along the lines of just just trying to come up with the right name to kind of
Yeah.
honor the
Well, sound,
future and
yeah,
the
it
past. Yeah,
sounds like you guys have three businesses because you got the mobile notary, the home inspection, and then the home management. So I mean, you could use the three in the paint still for that because it's three
there you go.
businesses. So I mean,
Now
brand.
that you mention it,
Yeah,
now we're rounding it around, and I think we're wanting to do something that honors our past father
yeah,
and kind of his spirit of entrepreneurship and that type of thing,
gotcha,
and then also at the same time just kind of something that uh, shines on or gleans from on what we're doing, want to do for the future. You know what I mean? So
gotcha,
yeah.
gotcha. So we'll switch it to a little bit about the financial aspects of it. What were some of the initial financial challenges you faced when starting the business, and how did you overcome that?
Money, man. It was money and
It's like
well, no,
availability.
I'll take that back. It was time to be able to operate
Okay,
and to generate whatever it is that we knew was going to help us generate actual income from these businesses.
gotcha.
Um, without the time, there is no, I mean, that's the gas in the car. That's,
Yeah.
even if you have gas in the car and you don't have time to go anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
that's the end all be all. And so it was the work time, the work, family, business management of it all, time management of it all, essentially what caused us to, I mean, other than the radio business that we were on,
Mm-hmm.
Beasley Media Group ended up folding and getting bought out, and so that transitioned us. That forced the transition a little bit as well. So, but it was,
Gotcha.
I would say, timing. And then capital, as far
Uh-huh.
as, me and Zach both are both career. We have career positions. Him in a corporate company, and me
Mm-hmm.
with the federal government, and but we both have families, so it was all
Right.
about finding the right budget. How are we going to be able to do this? Because it was not. They weren't paying us to go on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't on that level yet. We weren't
Yeah.
the hottest thing in Atlanta, DJs. So we had
Yeah.
to earn our keep. That's why we getting sponsors was essential and trying to figure. But you couldn't just go to people and be like, "Hey, we're going to start a radio show. Do
Mm-hmm.
you want to sponsor us?" No, we had to start it.
We gotta already be
Yeah,
trucking for
we
somebody
had
to want
to
to jump on that train.
absolutely. We had to get the engine going and become the little engine that could, and see who would want to get behind us and help push us along the way as we
Right.
promoted them as well. So,
Yeah. And that's a lot of the things that I'm doing now, like with the podcast and things like that.
mm,
You gotta start the train going with your own funds because nobody's gonna invest in you if you don't invest in yourself. So
no, right,
um
right.
so yeah,
Unless
I
you
mean,
get, I mean, unless you're trust. To shout out to all those who are left with a couple million, and
yeah,
mess up
yeah,
along the way. But that wasn't the case. Yeah,
yeah,
not usually
absolutely.
the case.
Yeah. So how has your understanding and use of credit evolved throughout your entrepreneurial journey?
My understanding of credit and usage, credit particularly,
Yeah.
um, it evolved immensely, man. I was one of those people who cash is king.
Yeah.
Um, I still, as far as budgeting wise, I still think sometimes for me it could be better to use cash.
Hmm.
But I had to learn because simply I had the whole college thing. You've been there, tons of other. You get that Discover
Yeah.
card, you get that first Visa
Yep.
card.
I say it all the
Uh,
time. First
I
thing
had
they
a
shove in your face when you
first
get on
thing.
campus.
Yeah, what's
It's
your
like, here,
social?
take this pizza. Here, take this T-shirt.
Here's a T-shirt.
Here's a credit card.
Yeah,
Fill out this credit card. We'll give you $600
right,
for
right.
25% interest. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, all right.
Let's go.
Let's go, man. 25. Oh, that ain't bad. I can count. 25 ain't bad. 50 now. No, that ain't.
Yeah.
So we having no understanding of that. Well, I won't say any understanding, but more so along the balancing a checkbook type
Right.
understanding that I grew up in.
Right.
Um, my folks didn't really, discuss how you manage your credit
Yeah.
usage and stuff like that. So it was very little, but there was a pivotal point when I got married, and I will, man, you know, once you a man with intention on being married and having a family, you better have some intention of figuring it out and trying to, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
taking care of your family if you're that type of
Right.
guy, which you
Right.
should be, and that's what I was, and so I that's what spurred me, and it was like the catalyst of me really
Mm.
figuring uh, the credit thing out. Alexa's talking in the background. I apologize about that. She's telling me the weather. This notification, but
She said, I want to be on the podcast.
right tomorrow, not right now, Alexa. All right, I know I'm single, but you are not my girl. I can do better than you. But anyway,
Silence.
yeah, the only one I can talk to like that. Then come in later. Alexa, you okay? She don't care. So that was one of the things that really got my knowledge, my thirst for knowledge
Right.
more on that. I got my very first credit card, even though I was getting that credit understanding I got myself out of debt and stuff. Well, did the work to get out of debt. And I didn't have a credit card, and that was just like debt from just loans or credit, not credit. I'm about to say credit card, student loans and
Right.
stuff like that. So, but a credit card became essential, and I understood it once I went through divorce,
Yeah.
and that's what yeah,
Yeah.
really
And
had me.
in our current financial structure, I mean, this is a stat I throw out probably every episode that I've been on. There are, I think it's less than 5% of high school students are required to go through some sort of financial empowerment class or some
And
sort of
that's
financial literacy class. But 98% of all Americans have some sort of credit on their credit profile.
right.
So
That's very unfortunate, man. It's
the
unfortunate.
balance when it comes to stuff like that is disparaging,
Yeah,
and it's done like that on purpose.
yeah.
So if they can keep us in the dark about credit and about
Mm,
how to use it, then we're not going to realize that this credit thing is kind of a big deal. It's a nice tool for us to be able to use, because
right.
credit versus a debit card, you have way more protections when you have a credit card, and they give the money back almost immediately.
Right.
I'll give a
And it's their
scenario.
money.
Exactly. And you're not you're paying them back when you use it. And
Right.
as long as you pay it within the 30-day mark, there's no interest on
No
it.
interest. Yeah.
So I just had a situation where I purchased something online, and it was a scam. Like somebody
Oh.
it was some sort of canned
Mm-hmm.
image that they put on there, and it was like one of the kind of eBay type sites.
Gotcha.
But I purchased it, and the company, the
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 card
company,
company.
well, the consignment company that was holding it,
Okay.
they were like, well, it looks like it was delivered, so there's nothing we can do. And I was like, all right, have a nice day. I'm gonna dispute this with my credit card company. So it took maybe 2 hours for them to put the money back in there, and they were
Wow.
like, they were like, we'll take it over from here. Don't you worry about it.
Right. We got
So
it, buddy.
that
That's
that kind
awesome.
of that kind of action that you take, and I mean, don't even get me started on American Express. They like the mafia when they go get their money, boy. You tell them, hey man, these
They
people
here to
here was
collect.
bothering me. That person
Yeah.
tried to beat me up. American Express be like, hey, don't you
Bro.
worry your pretty little head. We gonna we
Right.
gonna take care of it.
Oh, they bothering you? Okay.
Like a
We
big
got that.
brother, boy. They
Yeah,
they
yeah,
they going to
yeah.
get their stuff.
As it
So
should.
so yeah, just that whole debit versus credit. Because if you do that same thing with your debit card,
Dark
the
difference,
the
man.
bank is gonna be like, we're giving you provisional credit. But if we
You
decide that
pulling your hair out.
that it's not a legitimate, or we decide that you were at fault in this, then they
Yeah.
can take that provisional
Yeah.
credit back.
That's right.
So, and the provisional credit is something that they did recently, but before they would just be like, oh, well, we got to wait 30 days so we
Yeah.
can go through this investigation, and then
Right.
we'll give you your money back.
Right. Yeah.
And that's not something you want to have to go through. And I mean, and like the
Yeah.
stats about how many Americans are living paycheck to
Check the
paycheck.
check, man.
So that
Not
could be
ideal.
detrimental
Yeah.
to somebody who gets scammed, or or $500. Like they said, most people can't recover from $1,000 debt
Yeah.
that is unexpected.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's. I was in that position at one point in time, and that's what spurred my wanting to be
mm,
like, just trying to get out of that. Feel like you in the check, you're
yeah,
chasing.
yeah,
You get one bill paid, and then there's
that
the
rut,
next.
yeah,
By the time you get paid, there's two more pop up. So I mean, if you got pulled over and got a traffic ticket, that was a
right.
fine. You ready to, well, hey man, just go and take me to jail. So give me a break. But
And as funny as that is, there's a
absolutely
lot of
right.
people that get taken to jail, and they get a plea deal just because they don't have the money, they don't have the funds to bail themselves out, and they need to be out to go to work and all of that stuff. So
Right.
they're like,
Right.
well, you fit the description. And the sad part about that is they're just trying to get out of jail because they can't financially recover from that if they
Right.
don't go to work. So they're
Right.
like, okay, well, I'll take a plea deal just so I can get out. No, I didn't rob these people, but
But
if I can take a plea deal and get out of it, I don't have to admit that I
right.
robbed them. But at the same time, the state gets their money, and
Hmm.
it's
And it
just
gives
it's
them
crazy.
time. Like I was saying, like you get time to figure something out whether you can work somehow, get some money, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
to try to see if you can get on top of that. And
And
yeah,
by that time, you're a felon.
yeah, that's actually something that's dear to my heart, man. About and I hear about guys who have
Yeah.
child support type stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, thank God that's not my issue, and that's
Mm-hmm.
probably why it does. For me, I'm like, man, I can imagine how that would be.
Right.
Um, Arresting somebody for child support, like, I don't understand how that makes you get your money any faster. But hey,
Yeah. And
but yeah,
I heard a podcast. I think it was Ash Cash, where they were talking about child support, where um, none of it goes to the child.
oh no, man, it's
None of
it's
it.
not. I said jokingly, I think it's a tax for divorcing your wife, or something like that. But because I'm not a,
But
I
even
don't.
if you were never married, it just
Right, I was gonna say even
it's
that.
like a tax for having a kid, and
Hmm.
then
And
it
not
only
staying with the
goes,
mom. Yeah,
yeah, or it only goes to the parent that doesn't have the custody, and then you can
right.
do and then the state gets the money, but the administrative fees are what eats it up, and it's like 90 something percent
Yeah,
administrative fees for some of the states that I've heard. But either way,
yeah,
like it's just
yeah. I thankfully I don't. That's not how mine was set up, and I think because thank God I had the means to kind of fight it in court like that. Um, it was more just along the lines of what
right.
percentage would be missing from the household since we're not together,
Uh-huh.
and since we both have legal joint custody of our children. So
Gotcha.
it's a little different. So that's why I said those guys where it comes out your paycheck and there's an admin fee and the state is all,
Mm-hmm.
and they know if you don't pay it, and then they come and put a warrant out for your arrest. You know
And the
I
crazy part is that goes on your credit, but
oh yeah,
that's not a transaction that
right,
started from your credit. And it's like,
right,
how can you put this on my credit when this
right.
has nothing to do with
I
credit?
didn't swipe no card for this.
I didn't fill out no application, nothing like that. It wasn't a
Right,
financial transaction that
right,
happened.
right.
So, I
You
mean, I guess
definitely
they
don't
said
think of the yeah. You don't think of the act as being like when you're with
yeah,
somebody like, oh,
like you
this
lay
is
down with them, that's financial right
gonna
there.
cost me money right here. This $130, $130,000 later. So, but I got
Yeah, but so how do you balance like being a dad with being an entrepreneur?
you. It's the work life balance, man. Well, there's a schedule because I do have joint custody of my
Hmm.
children. So, but that still doesn't make me
Right.
that doesn't make me a part time dad.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
I call myself a biological stalker. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, meaning those children, those people that were created by me,
Yeah.
came out of me. They will forever be
Hmm.
anywhere, wherever they want to be. I will.
Yeah.
I feel like I have the ability to be where they're at. So
Yeah. I agree.
once the divorce was final, it was one of those things of again essentially making my life, my livelihood, and my fatherhood,
Hmm.
and that balance.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people go into business thinking they'll have a lot of free time for some reason. Um,
Yeah.
I would advise them that they need to keep a job if that's the case, if that's what they're thinking, because it
Unless you're
does
already
not.
famous and
Yeah,
you just start a business, then
yeah,
it's not gonna pop off like
yeah. You
that.
just
But
okay. I bought a couple McDonald's and such and
yeah.
such, but we're talking about just the small business owner,
Hmm.
entrepreneur, whatever. That's it. It's going to lend more of your time to be able to make
Yeah.
have some success.
Hmm.
And so I want to be successful in business. I haven't been a failure in business, but we haven't. It's not like we've turned these major profits either. So
Not
I
yet.
just, I right, not yet. Thank you. Same for you. And it's like I want just to make sure that my success in business isn't with my success of my fatherhood and
Yeah.
my, you know what I mean? Like my business takes off and fatherhood is,
Yeah.
my children are
Yeah.
suffering. And that takes figuring it out. That takes figuring it out, and especially in the co-parenting situation, it
Yeah.
takes trying to figure it
Yeah.
out.
You want to have a parallel a parallel relationship, so it goes up
Absolutely.
at the same time, and not an
Absolutely.
inverse relationship where one of them goes up and one of them
And
goes
one
down.
suffers from the, and
Yeah,
there are sacrifices that need to be made, but
yeah,
my goal and my prayer and like what my desire has always been to make it work somehow. I make no doubts about it. I operate as a independent home inspector now.
hmm
Um, so
hmm
when realtors talk to me and we talk about when this house is going through a due diligence period and stuff like that, and then when they
yeah,
need it done, I make sure that they understand. Hey man, I'm a father, or this day won't work. I pass it off to another guy I know in our network. Hey, and we get it done for you. But
right,
I
right,
can't miss this recital. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
yeah,
'Cause I'm a firm believer in they didn't ask to be here, so
they didn't ask to be here. Yeah,
us as parents,
and they
we
didn't ask for me and my ex-wife to get divorced. You know what I
right.
mean?
So
So
us as parents, we have to bridge that gap no matter what
right,
happens. Like you have to always remember they didn't ask to be here. So
right,
even if they done gone crazy, lost their mind, you as the
they
parent, you the one
still
brought him here. You the one brought him here.
right.
So it's on
Yeah,
you to bridge that gap.
yes it is.
But
Yes it is.
I think that's something that the generation before us maybe lost or never learned. Because I mean, therapy
No,
wasn't a thing back then and all that.
no, they
So I
definitely
mean,
struggle with it, boy. I tell you.
so they come into the fold with the idea of we owe them something,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like, well, I didn't
Because
ask you
we're
to make me.
alive.
I didn't ask you to make me. It's like,
Right,
well, you owe me back for giving you all these years of
right.
roof,
Taking
and
you
I've been
back
going
in.
to work trying to make sure you are. Well, I ain't ask you to do that. I
Right.
ain't ask you to make me.
Look,
So
and you had your own bills too at that time. You do remember that now. Some bills I wasn't responsible for.
yeah, so it's just like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
how can you not see that? But I mean, and I understand like,
They weren't raised there. Yeah,
generation two different generations and things like that.
absolutely.
And we have the benefit of being able to talk to therapists that are, clinically trained,
Hmm.
and they
Man, say
specialize in
that
kind of thing.
again. Please
Yeah,
say that again.
clinically
Clinically
trained,
trained. Oh my
clinically
God.
trained,
Yeah.
and not just relying on God. And I'm
And
not saying
vibes.
not just, and I'm not. Please don't get me wrong.
And vibes.
I understand that you can pray, and God will help you.
Yeah.
But you also go to the doctor when you need
Yeah.
a doctor, and they are trained
This
to
is
help
a
you out.
this is a real conversation I just had with my family, like my mother and my sister.
Yeah,
And I said, I think a lot of people, the whole Jesus take the wheel thing is funny as it sounds. A lot of people
yeah.
really believe that. Like,
hmm
I will step back and Jesus will take the
Jesus will
direction
fix
of
my
my life.
bipolarism. It's
Yeah,
like, no,
he gonna drive it. No, God is not that way.
you
He's
need a
gonna be your
pastor and
yeah.
you need a therapist.
As soon as you go to the altar, when you get up from the altar, go get on your insurance website and find you a clinically trained a good
right.
therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist, one of the two, and
Right.
you know somebody who has, because good intentions doesn't mean there's good results there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yep.
So I know a lot of clergy and pastors and all that have very good intentions for their
Yeah.
flock, but they're not equipped to really handle
Yeah.
that type of thing in that type of way. You know what I
And we
mean?
see that
So
all the time. It's like,
yeah,
Jesus forgave my sins, but you molested that girl, so
you're
you gonna
gonna
have to
have to
pay them
do
consequences, bro.
that. You're right. Jesus
Jesus
paid.
forgave me. Well,
Hey,
I'm
good,
glad. I'm
good.
glad.
You straight in the
Now you gotta pay
spiritual
the
world.
toll.
You straight in the spiritual world. Good for you. But you still here, so yeah, you got some years to serve. You got some answers to call the answer.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
those that's just the reality. Even financially, that's the case. A lot of that
right.
learned in the church. Oh, you give your last dime, and or you can be cursed, and that's not the. I'm not religious that way.
Yeah,
I don't believe
yeah,
God has that intention for my life. If He understands, look, Doc, I'm just trying to figure it out.
yep,
I got this rent due. I want to sow $100. I hear the man calling me 5 times. I got $100 getting this line. I can't do that. I'm
yeah,
okay. I'm scared, Lord. I ain't gonna do it. and and I go outside, my car don't start. Like, that's not how God.
It has to line up with your spirit. I mean,
Right.
there's a lot of people that prophesy out here, and then there's a lot of people that prophet lie, and then there's a lot of people that are out here that give you something. It might sound good. Like, I can tell you, hey, Johnny, God told me that you're gonna be a millionaire in three
I
days.
see that.
And if it's new information to you,
Yeah.
it's probably not what God told you.
Right.
It's
You're right.
probably God probably didn't tell them that either.
Right.
But something that God tells you should be confirmation of what
The
He's
confirm.
already told you.
Man, that's
So,
awesome. That's right.
and it's just like, okay, well, I understand what you're saying. You
Yep.
telling me to give you telling me I need to give you my camera, but God didn't tell me that. So I'm gonna wait till
Right.
you tell me.
Give me empty your house and give me your furniture.
God told me you was gonna be my husband. Well, God didn't tell me that. So
That's the one. That's so crazy. That's so crazy. Like, girl, are you sure? Because I'm gonna
it
need
don't matter if she's sure. If you ain't
right,
sure, it don't matter.
right.
It's like, you
No,
can be as
like,
sure as you want,
shoot.
ma'am,
Because
but God didn't tell me that. So
Lord, what service you was on when that happened? Because, hey, man, but
are you
that's
sure it wasn't somebody that was a doppelganger?
right. Looks like me. They say everyone has a twin. It wasn't. I
Maybe it was a
promise.
dark skinned version of me.
Right. Yeah. It's that way, and it's that way with our with finance too. So I've
Yeah.
definitely gone through it, man.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So yeah. Let's see. What aspect of being a mobile notary and a home inspector are you most passionate about?
People. Plain and simple, man. My
That's a
heart,
that's a
I have a
great
heart.
answer.
Yeah, I have a heart dealing with people, man. That's why one of my things is if a job could be supporting someone, like I know there are jobs, that
Hmm.
companies that do this say we'll support your
Yeah.
business and support you and from a non-business aspect. I probably could. I mean, I have not leaned my thoughts to trying to gear how to monetize that about myself, that gift
Hmm.
about me, because I can support someone and literally have uh no feeling of like reprisal. Like, what do I need to, if you blow up
Right.
and this interview, whatever, is like, oh, well, that was the one that really got me to go watch this, I wouldn't be like, remember that? Well, a lot of people saying that. No. Well,
Hey, you
I
already know I'm a
just,
Capricorn. I got ways, receipts, and all that stuff.
oh yeah. I look, man. So people, plain and
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah.
Mobile notary is assisting. Being a travel notary allows me to assist these financing companies or
Right.
closing companies with people securing their dreams,
Hmm.
with their homes or whatever it may be. Um, and the home inspection business has been so eye opening, man. Just from when we started our first new build that we did, a brand new house.
Uh-huh.
um, we went through jumped all the hurdles they tried to put in front of us about our drone
Hmm.
licensing and do we have it registered and are we have all this, and
Man,
we were
don't
like,
get me
yeah,
started on drones.
I know. And then they finally allowed us to do the home inspection that the buyer wanted,
Hmm.
because their realtor is a good realtor and was like, even though they are going to do a final walkthrough, you could still get a home inspection done.
Yeah.
And so we did that, and it allowed us to just see that even with these new homes, people can really get. You're already emotional in buying a home
It
anyway.
can be
When
some
it's
fraggle
brand new,
knackle.
yeah, and when it's brand new, you're going in, a lot of buyers are going into it thinking this is, I mean, it's perfect. There's not a screw out of place. There's everything has got the right amount of caulking and everything else, and all the
Don't
all
get
the
into trouble with that word.
oh yeah, oh,
Black cock,
let, let's
white
let's
cock.
let's spell it. Let me spell it. By the way, use your words podcast coming out. But anyway, this word, I said caulk.
Go ahead,
Caulking.
plug it.
Yeah,
Tell us
usual.
when. Tell us when.
Well, right now, man, we're doing every Monday. We're doing a Use Your Words podcast live stream Monday on Facebook. It'll be on the link, whatever is attached to this. And
Okay.
yeah, we recorded. We did some recorded content that taking your advice, we putting in a can and waiting and you know, getting that edited and doing it right, man. Because you really I was able to pass that information along. And because you know, you right, as soon as you want to record, you're like, all right, let's drop that. Let's all right, cut and the edit, and then go ahead and put it up. It's like,
Yeah.
so
I got some sauce from other people, so
yeah,
had
yeah.
to
Well,
pass it on to my
I
brother.
appreciate you passing it, bro. So I pass that on to Jabari, who is my co-host on the show, and we've been just enjoying it, man. I'm freer. I feel freer about it. No, as far as less pressure about it, other than I put on a little bit of myself.
Yeah.
But then I did with Three in the Paint and everything. So because Three in the
Gotcha.
Paint started getting success, and it was like, oh, you gotta, you like, oh, all
You
right,
got
but
scared of the success.
let's do it. We
Yeah.
gonna do the, you know, this and that. So there's really none of that right now, man. I be having to
Yeah.
rein in my partner Jabari sometimes because I know he get excited and he always say, man, I'm following your lead on this. I'm like, hey, bro, we gonna do us,
Yeah.
and that's what we can do. But again, to your question, people, that's
Yeah. Good.
what it is. Yeah,
And that's my thing. If you find a way to help people with what you're passionate at, money will come.
it
Like
will.
you ain't gonna have to worry about money.
I agree.
So,
I agree. Absolutely, 100%.
all right, how do you balance like the two different demands on these entrepreneur paths that you have? You know, mobile notary and the home inspection, and of course your 9 to 5 as well.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you balance these the three demands in the service? You know, like the services in your business.
The demands of them.
Yeah, because I mean, like,
Yeah.
you know, scheduling, and then you got the notary, but you have the home inspection. I mean, have you pulled back one of them just so you have more bandwidth to do the other ones, or what is it? How do you?
Yeah. There was a involuntary pullback
Hmm.
from the entertainment side of it, the podcast, and because the show that I just told you about, the Use Your Words
Yeah.
podcast, that's something that we just, as you know, like just started kind of getting back into that. I mean, shoot, I was talking to you for about 2 years about I'm working on that show. I'm working on that show, like,
Yeah.
and man, I appreciate, love you for the fact, you know, you would never like, hey, I mean, well, when is it coming then, bro? What'd you do? You know, you just be like, well, get on it, man. You know, you know, hey, stick to it, whatever. So, but that was involuntary because of just timing and my business partner Zach at the
Right.
time. Home inspections actually kind of went backwards, but took my foot off the gas a little bit with that. Also, again, my business partner Zach, who owned the majority of it with
Hmm.
the home inspection company, we just transitioned into independent contracting with it. So I had my own report system. I write my own reports and all that other stuff,
Right.
and we do home inspections like that. And mobile notary, you know, that's as much as you can promote. You know, as
Right.
far as I have reached out to a few, uh, you know, financing companies that I know I was referred for one,
Hmm.
and another I'm actually still waiting to hear back from. They just had a couple notaries who they were already using,
Right.
but
Right. And
that's
there's a few states that allow you to be mobile notaries, or
mhm,
notaries that are like remote. And I think remote notaries is different than mobile notaries, because
yeah.
remote you can do online, but I think there's like 3 or 4 states that allow
Mhm.
you to be remote notaries. So
Right, you can you can notarize in different
yeah.
states. Yeah, yeah. There's so many levels to a lot of these areas.
Right.
Even you know, home inspection. It's funny. Me and my business partner Zach. Last time we spoke, we were talking about the training side of it. Because you don't need an actual in-class training to be certified in Georgia through Involuntary. Like take a South Carolina, when I was telling my brother and he was interested in getting in the home inspection, but it requires some in-class training. Now, it's going to be the same training from Involuntary. You know what I'm saying? Or one of those courses, and opening a school would just be taking that training and applying it, allowing the students to apply it technically, so they're hands-on, so more people learn better that way. I'm one of those people. But I went through it online, and I stay on my certification, stay up to date on it. But it's just been those things I had pulled back, and I mean, honest to God, man, it's my daughters have gotten older, and it's like it was perfect timing, because they were now having them involved in like more extracurricular activities and things of that nature. I don't have as much demand because I'm not and now because that's going on, it's like I'm not out here like super marketing my services and stuff like that. Now, if I meet a realtor and I find out they're a realtor, I'm going to let them know, like, hey, such and such. But so that way, again, it go back to that, keeping that fatherhood and livelihood balance. That's just been the gist of how that's been going. Yeah.
And that's one thing I heard Julian say, like Julian Gordon, the one I tell you about all the time,
Yeah.
multifamily
I
movement.
follow him.
He said if nobody knows that you know what you know, then you won't be able to sell. So the more people that know that you know what you know, the more you can sell.
There you go.
So
That's
I
big.
mean, your podcast is gonna help that out. And I mean, of course, giving out the free game, or putting it out on your social media, things like that. That's gonna get you visibility. And then when you get the visibility up, then you can sell to people, because that's the three pillars of like, no, trust. And
There
if
you
they
go.
already know who you are, then it's gonna be easy to sell to them. And it's
Absolutely.
not really selling, like the curse word selling. This
Yeah.
is another thing that I learned from Julian as well. He's like, selling is just getting people to admit, or getting people to accept your help. And
Yes.
if you look at it in that manner, it's easier to tell them, I do this, and
Right.
I've been trained, just like, we talking about clinically trained therapists. Like,
Right.
I went to school for this, so I can
Right.
help
Right.
you out. I mean, I can
Right.
help you.
Right.
So
With good intentions.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean? Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what's been your most significant learning experience or aha moment since you started your business?
Oh man. Probably the support from well, the networking being your net worth, equaling net worth, bar is something I heard from a friend of mine. Actually, my co-host, Jabbar, he was the first person I heard. I think you might have said it. I don't know, but I know he said it before. And that was one of the things that was a huge takeaway for me. Like you said, the aha moment when we started when I started the entertainment business, with Three in the Paint radio show,
Right.
and the engagement and people that I had supporting that, and being able to network with people who I had looked at and was like, I never thought I would even see them,
Right.
and I mean, some names in the Atlanta area that are in my phone, and I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to operate my gifts, you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
this is a business that was birthed out of something I feel like I like doing. And that was our aha moment, like, that's what you do. Why would I do a business that I think everybody else is successful at, just because I feel like everybody else is successful at? Oh, I need to get into that business. No. You know what I mean? That's not guaranteeing your success in that area. So, it had to be, of course, something feasible that I like to do. You know what I mean? I couldn't be out here like, I like the club and then what. Although, unless I'm
Yeah.
thinking of creating a brick and mortar lounge or something like that or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
so again, it goes to, that was the aha moment, like, this is what your gifts will make way for you means.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it can feel like hard to stay on that track sometimes
Mm-hmm.
because you're like, oh man, they doing this over here and they seem to be making a lot of money doing that over there.
Yeah.
It's like, but that's what, like you said, they know what they do. And I know what I believe I know what I'm good at. And so
Mm-hmm.
that was the biggest aha moment. Like, okay, yeah, let me stick to things that mobile notary was about, wanting to help people
Yeah.
first, and then it was about extra, like it being not a non-taxing way of making some income, you know what I mean?
Right.
And home inspection, absolutely about wanting to help people, in their process of securing their dream home or whatever, or
Right.
first time home buyer, and ensuring that what they are purchasing is ensuring the best that we can, because a home inspection is a non-intrusive, what I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like process. We don't get every nook and cranny, but we can. And so we did, what I mean? If we could, we did.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things, like, and how that, you got some income or just network created, and you just grew your network too.
Mm-hmm.
Even if the money wasn't there per se, I could have met two people that now these are potential, uh, you know, network resources that I
Yeah.
have now. You know what I mean? So
That's big.
people are the
Yeah.
biggest
Yeah.
commodity. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
Yeah. That's big, man. That's
yeah.
big. And like just looking ahead, what are your plans for like expanding? Are you gonna I mean, I know you said you're gonna open a lounge, things like that, but and
No, I
evolving
said
the
I'm
business.
not opening the
Oh, I
lounge.
thought you said you were gonna open the lounge. I was
Oh
like, all
God!
right,
At
cool,
one point, I did have
cool.
aspirations of doing that, and I was like, nah, this,
It's like that's not my lane.
no, man.
All right. So but I mean, are there any new services or new markets that you're considering for your business?
Oh, absolutely, man. We first thing right now is the podcast. Being back in that, I'm getting my
Yeah.
getting my juices going again.
Yeah.
Um, like I said,
Is that gonna be more so of a you talking, I mean you and your partner talking about, like current events, things like that, or is it
mhm.
gonna be a interview type thing?
It's going to be both. It's going to be
Okay.
one where we're engaged, where it's just a conversation where we're
Hmm.
engaging on topics with just me, him, and I.
Yeah.
Um, because the whole premise of the show is that we are going to use our words. What we want
Yeah.
to have conversations on any topic, but how
Right.
is it that how do we feel about it? Like, you
Okay.
know, you ask me something and I'm not like, well, you know what they say, and you say, well, why you feel that way? Well, they say you got the such and such. No, I believe. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like my
Yeah.
dad used to say, open your mouth with no H. I said it like that for real, like open your mouth. No H. Shout out to Pops, man. But he meant, like, hey man, you gotta open your mouth, speak up, and say what you think and what you believe, and don't worry
Yeah.
about what anybody else do. So that's where that I believe that's a there's a lot of podcasts out, man. There's a lot of options and people for to be able to listen to anything they want. And as I told Jabari when we were getting into this, we don't need to have everybody listen. It doesn't
Right.
have to have. There's 8 billion people on the planet.
And
You
you
know what I
can't.
mean?
You ain't gonna have everybody
You
listening.
never. I don't care how many people. Joe
Yeah.
Rogan. Everybody doesn't listen to Joe Rogan, and
You
or these other the bigger podcasts. So
right. When you
um,
cater to the people that are that are your people, then it's gonna be more viral anyway for you, and the people that are yours, because it's almost like you're talking directly to them.
right,
So
yeah,
if you're speaking directly to them and not in a generalization, they're going to relate to it more. So
yeah,
if I say like something to a black man that's bald headed, like he's
He's
going
gonna,
to
I
he's
feel
gonna
you, bro.
relate to that. He's gonna be
I
like,
feel
yo,
you.
he talking to me,
He's
yo,
talking
right
to
to
me.
me. And I'm
Right.
gonna have all these bald head
Did
people
you hear
like
what he
following me.
said? Yeah. Yeah. That, I
But
mean, that's the goal, man, is to be like, somebody say, did
that's
you see
exactly
that? Yeah.
that's
Did you
your
hear
goal.
what they said? And they like, no, I don't listen
That
to it.
feels
Like,
seen.
oh, yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I
You just
100%
want people to
agree.
relate to you.
Yeah. I
So
don't
yeah, I
know.
mean,
Yeah, I don't know if that answered the question. I definitely just to continue to grow and think and get the creative juices going about even how this transition with home inspection is going. Watching the markets,
yeah,
keeping my relationships with the realtors I know open and engaging, and
right.
mobile notaries is what it is, and but that 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 entertainment space, that podcast space, is where I've felt like I've had more success than the others.
Hmm.
So maybe that's probably why it does give me my leanings to assuring that up. But at the same time, like you said, that's a platform for me also to say, because my co-host Jabbar, he owns a successful detailing shop.
Okay.
Shout out to Showroom 101 in Duncan,
Yeah.
South Carolina, and some other thing. He's got like insurance license, like yourself. He got his hands in some other things, and or
Right.
a lot of good disciplines. So I'm just trying to, man, be like y'all, man. Just trying to expand my territory, as they say.
Enlarge.
Yeah, enlarge and expand. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
both.
So, and this one might be a little premature, but I mean, well, whatever.
Mhm.
How do you see the role of technology shaping the future of mobile notary and home inspection services?
Well, first, like what you spoke to, that was something I think I heard of as far as the remote notary.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, man. I think with AI, it's going to change a lot of things.
Hmm.
Um, I see it somehow affecting even the home closing process. Look, there were a lot of things that over the pandemic we clearly figured out
Yeah.
as as a country, and as technology was, it spurred having to, okay, how do we get technology to do this, since this is going on in the world right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember working for the FDA for years before,
Hmm.
and it was always came up when it came to teleworking. It was always a wall that we came up against
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
inspectors or
Federal
whatever.
government be
Oh yeah,
on that
they were
bullshit.
like, "Well, look, we don't, we don't. We're there.
Boo.
We're concerned. Look, there. He's saying that, not me, guys. No,
Boo. I ain't in it no more. Boo.
look, the words expressed by the
They
um
figured it out though. They
yeah.
figured it out.
That was what I was getting to. For years, it was like, oh no, we worried about chain of custody with sample, this, that. The pandemic hit. Okay, guys, y'all gonna work from home, and I was like, oh, we can telework, okay. So,
It's like either come into work or die.
right, or get the vaccine and you're fine. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's another thing. But yeah, so I think technology is always we're gonna figure out a way that it does more
Right.
than we need to do, and
Yeah.
that's a scary thing
Yeah.
to an extent, unless
But if
unless
we,
unless it gives you the power to be like, okay, this guy uses this technology to do the notary, or
yeah,
he does this. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. If it's something
If
like
we
that,
use it as a tool,
there
then
you
we can
go.
always stay ahead of it. But I mean, I think I heard somebody say this the other day. It's like, why would you create AI that's all powerful? It's like, don't make dumb stuff that is powerful. Don't make smart stuff that's
Right. Give me a
powerful.
powerful toaster. I want to shoot it 20 feet up in the air and I
And
can
it's
catch it.
like, okay, well, if you got a big old towering robot over you, please don't make it smart. Just
Right,
make it dumb. Make it dumb. Make it do what you exactly what you needed to do. Don't
right.
connect it to the internet. Don't make it smart. Don't make it learn.
Don't
Don't do
make it
none of
so
that.
inquisitive and curious and all that
Don't do
stuff.
none of that. Make that big thing dumb. Make
Right,
little
right.
things smart.
Right, right, right. And but though that's how it is. Those little chips,
Yeah.
they are the brains of a lot of operations. So
Yep.
yeah, technology, man, is I mean, it's
Yeah. We're on
invaluable.
the hockey stick of the technology. It's like it's going way up really fast,
Mm,
but
yeah,
we have to catch up, number one, and
yeah,
then we have to utilize the tools that we're given. Because I mean, and this is another thing I always talk about, how people are talking about how AI is taking a lot of jobs. Well,
hmm.
it's only taking the jobs of people that don't want to move forward. Because
Hmm.
when they made the electric drill, all of the mechanics that wanted to still do it by hand, they were less efficient.
Yeah,
So if you can use this AI stuff to be more efficient, then yeah, you're going to take people's
you're
jobs,
gonna
but it's
thrive.
only because they're not being as efficient as you are.
Right, exactly.
So
And it's not
use it as a tool.
the technology taking the job. Essentially,
Yeah,
if it's a
exactly.
tool, it's those who know how to use the tool.
It's
So,
evolution, and you're evolving with the evolution.
right, and if you can't get the job done, then you
Right,
know you're less marketable in the marketplace. So,
right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just that's
And
one of my things I want to try to make sure I stay up on. Yeah,
gotcha.
for sure.
So if you could go back and give advice to yourself
Oh
when
man,
you were just starting out, what would it be?
well, I wanted to say something just now. You probably already know,
I can
but
cut it out.
but I
I
ain't
can
gonna
cut
say,
it out if you feel like.
run, nigga, run. Don't turn around. Keep running.
Get out.
Take them shoes off if it make you run faster. Oh, what? Yeah. But yeah, yeah. I, man,
Oh.
you know, I've heard this question asked to people before, and I think for me, you mean at the beginning of like the business process,
Well, I mean, I think just more so of your entrepreneurship journey.
opportunity
I
journey?
think,
Yeah.
yeah, I think frame it in the way of an entrepreneur, or
Um,
even if it's a younger person that wants to do what you're doing. What kind of
yeah,
advice would you give them?
yeah. Write it down for real. Yeah, literally write it down for real. Um, I know I was one of the people. I used to lie, like, "Oh man, you know, you write your vision, you make it plain." I ain't had nothing writing. It wasn't. It was all up here. It was all up here, and you know, by 3 days, I'm like, God, dog, that
But
was.
there's studies that show that when you write stuff down, you
I was.
subconsciously you're gonna take care of it. Like you're gonna tackle it.
You,
And if you
yeah.
and I tried it as an experiment. Like when me and my wife got into this house, we
Mm-hmm.
wrote down all of the things that we needed to do to the house,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
All the stuff we needed to do, and then even without looking at that list, a
Yeah.
year later we came back to that list and we were like, let's see how many things we
Yeah.
did, and it was like 90% of the list that we had
Yes.
done.
It's awesome, man. It's
Yeah,
awesome. I did the same thing in my marriage, and it was
right.
one of those things. It was like a vision board, and I was like, you know, what we gonna do? Put pictures of Corvettes on here? Da, 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 da. It's like, no, we just write down. Okay, we're gonna have this paid on, or you're
Yeah,
gonna do da 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 da. And literally, like you said, without even looking at it,
yeah.
like
You don't
every
even have to
day.
revisit it. Yeah,
Yeah, it wasn't even, and it was present. I know I was not looking at that thing.
right.
And then you go back to me like, well, I'll be. So actually writing things down, I've and post divorce, that was something that I did.
Uh-huh.
What do I want my post divorce life to look like? I
Right.
have a notebook where I have things written down
Hmm.
of what I wanted to do. And this is a great interview because now it is reminding me that maybe I will look at that
Yeah,
because now that I think about it, I know there's one. I know
yeah.
specifically there's one on there that I have
You've
done.
accomplished a lot of
Yeah, I've
things.
accomplished. So write
And I
it
mean, just
down.
knowing you personally, I mean, I know in the trenches of it, in the throes of it, you probably thought like this is gonna do me in. But just seeing you going through that like as gracefully as you went through it, and I mean, you ain't ever said nothing bad. It wasn't like
Mm,
you ain't have to badmouth nobody. All you did was like, and I mean, this was kind of a place where you had to say like, Jesus, take the wheel, and then
yeah,
he could.
yeah,
But at the
yeah.
same time, like you still have to talk to people. You have to have therapy because I mean we are social emotional beings, so we
Yes.
have to have interaction, which is why most people in jail, when you put them in solitary confinement, they go crazy.
They don't do well.
So those are like things, but just like kudos to you for
Oh,
walking
thank you,
through
bro.
that,
Appreciate it.
and being, like a picture of what God's grace can get you through. So
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, praise God, man. Thank you. But yeah, that's what I would tell my younger self, man. I say write it down for real, little homie. And whatever you believe that you cannot, whatever's in you that's telling you that there's a pull on you to do, but at the same time that pull is there, there's that doubt as well. You
yeah.
know what I mean? I don't know if you've experienced it. It's like I want to do that, but
Oh yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like at the same time, like, but I really do
Yeah.
that? Like, I'll just tell
Yeah.
my younger self or any other young man, because honestly, I don't know if I would tell my younger self a lot of things because
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
Couldn't have
who I
handled it.
am. Yeah,
Couldn't have,
I wouldn't have been able to handle it, and
yeah.
it just would have some
Wouldn't have
things
listened.
we had to endure. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's sadly, I mean,
Yeah.
but that's just what it is. And I try
Yeah.
to
But that.
like this gonna sound crazy, but I try to set my girls up like that. Like I put little obstacles in their way in the
Yeah.
in the kitchen and stuff. Like you
And that
you got to get over some stuff. You got to
crazy.
deal with disappointment. Not just play,
That
but
negative self talk is like one of the big things too. And another Julian Gordon quote.
mm-hmm.
The enemy is your enemy. So it takes a
uh,
toll on you because you're telling yourself
the
all of this stuff.
inner me is the enemy. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you're telling yourself all of this stuff about how it's not gonna work or how this thing is not, and
Yeah.
it's honestly you just being, and I mean at some point it might be because you heard that from a figure that was limiting you, like a
Mm-hmm.
parent or a teacher
Pigeonholing
or
you
something
to
like
the
that.
one thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
In one type of way.
because of their experiences with life,
Right.
they were trying to stifle your experience, but at some point you started telling yourself that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
when you start telling yourself that, that's when it becomes real to you.
That's
So I mean, those things, like you have to get into a habit of telling yourself that you can, and then I know for people like me and you that are good at things and things like that,
mm-hmm.
you start to get scared of success because
Mm-hmm.
failure it's familiar. Failure is familiar to
Yeah,
you,
that's right.
and then when you start like just probably why you procrastinated on getting the podcast going,
Yeah.
because you're like, I know it's gonna blow up, but what do I do with that? Like, people are gonna be
Yeah.
counting on me, because
Yeah.
that's the kind of thing that goes through your head, and that's honestly one of the reasons that I really didn't want to be on camera and things like that too.
Mm-hmm.
So because I have a good personality, and this is not like to big up myself or anything like
No, you
that,
should, bro. I big it
but
up.
well, I
Yeah.
appreciate it,
Yeah, man.
I mean, when I talk to people, a lot of people can relate to it, and
Yeah.
it's just the reality of what it is. Even though I'm an introvert, I don't like to talk to people, but when I do talk to
I
people,
know. But you operate well in that space. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
And now
I
you're in one that you created your own platform for that to cultivate it the way you want it. You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
And it's dope, man. It's dope. It looks dope, and you're a dope person to do it. So
Appreciate it, man.
yeah.
Appreciate it.
But
But
I
yeah,
agree
I mean,
with you to
we
say
did.
that. I agree with you. Yeah, that
Yeah,
success. It sometimes the fear
because
of
it's not
success
familiar.
is not
Yeah,
familiar, and it's not even as loud sometimes.
right.
The fear that like that whole part of, oh, I don't know if I can do it. That's loud, but
Yeah.
that whole, well, what if I get successful and like that's kind of like deep in your subconscious when you
Mm-hmm.
really know that you can do something.
Yeah.
So that'll be there. That's that little thing that'll be there sometimes. Like, man, I gotta remind myself, people talk either way. I don't care about.
Either way, either
Yeah.
way.
So might as well.
But we've always been told to be humble too, and it's just like, okay, well, me me diminishing my light because somebody else might be intimidated by it is not me being humble.
I was
That
called a narcissist, and it almost destroyed me. It really
Yeah,
did, because
because
I'm
when
like,
if you're made to be a lighthouse, like, the people that are not lighthouses are going to still see you,
right.
and but more so, it's it's not for other lighthouses when you're a lighthouse. It's for the ships in the dark that need to keep moving.
Right.
So you're being the light for the ships in the dark, and if you diminish that because another lighthouse is saying, "Oh, you're too big, you're too big,"
whatever.
then the people that you're supposed to be guiding won't get where they need to go.
Absolutely. There's somebody waiting for somebody who is thinking about opening a business or pursuing their dream. There's somebody in the world somewhere, someplace that is going to benefit because we created to meet a need in the world. And so once we do that, like you said, that we'll have our tribe. We'll find those who you got people who go to McDonald's and will never go to Burger King.
Right.
And there's thousands of fast food places you can go to.
Yeah.
And they're open up all the time. So that's how
millions
I look at
of burger places.
You know what I mean? Millions
and
of
they
burger
all
places.
have business.
All of them. All of them, bro. I believe
Except
me. I've
like
been
Jack
to
in the
a lot.
Box or something. But yeah, all of them have business.
Hey, Jack
I gotta be careful about these. I gotta be careful about the establishments that's still open because the mafia running them.
Look, Jack in the Box. There's a Usual Words podcast. We don't mind a little sponsorship. Now we ain't breaking no legs.
Captain D's.
We gonna have
Captain
insurance.
D's ain't never got. They ain't never got no patrons, and they still open.
Oh, still
and
open.
Meanwhile, Red Lobsters are closing.
Red Lobsters are closing, man. Golden Corral still busting though. I mean, shoot, you can't keep once you turn 60, you got to go there.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. Once you get that AARP card, once I get mine, I'm going.
I got a buffet.
I get my
AARP.
I'm going, man.
But tell people how they can find you. What's your website? I'm gonna post it for you and list it down. But just go ahead and tell people.
Absolutely, bro. I'm on Instagram as Mighty Moolah. That's MIGHTYMOOLA. Also, 3 in the Paint Radio. iHeart 3 in the Paint Show. _ 3 in the Paint _ the radio show. Sorry about that. I promise you that's what it is. 3 in the Paint, the number 3 in the Paint _ radio show. That's also on
y'all know me. Just go find it.
Yeah, go find it. The link is in my bio. I've been waiting to say that, man. Yes. All right, link is in my bio for that. And also
on Instagram.
On Instagram, yes.
Okay.
And on Facebook, man, 3 in the Paint Radio Show is still we still have a Facebook page. The Usual Words Podcast Facebook page and YouTube is coming. And my personal Facebook is Jam JAM Moo MOO.
Jam.
Yeah. And that's on Facebook, and that's also where most of the Usual Words Podcast live stream Monday live streams are done through my page. So go on there and follow me, and you can catch us this Monday coming. And I won't be at home, but we're still gonna be getting it done for sure.
And will it be on YouTube eventually?
It's coming to YouTube. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Same thing. Use Your Words Podcast on YouTube.
Yep. It'll be the Usual Words Podcast. We had to add the.
Okay.
But it still works for us. We'll make it work. But the Usual Words Podcast, yes, it'll be on YouTube, and Facebook page is coming also. Yeah.
Well, John, thank you again for being on
bro.
Credit Chats podcast. And,
dope, man.
This was an invigorating conversation, and I appreciate it again, man.
I appreciate you, brother, man, and much success, man. I'm so proud of you, and look forward to the success to come in the future, man, for sure.
Thank you, man.
Having me back on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And me being on yours too.
Absolutely.
So,
gotcha.
Everybody, this was John Mouzon. He so graciously graced us with his presence. But that is all we have for you today. We'll see you next time.
See you, bro.
Whoa. Were you about to leave without hitting that like and subscribe button? I mean, you'll be back, right? So why not save yourself the hassle and just do it now? It's like putting your keys by the door, or packing your lunch, or packing 3 days before your flight and not the night of. It just makes life easier. But wait, did you just do it? I knew you had it in you. I appreciate that. See you next time. Same place, same channel. And remember, everything you need is inside of you.